Hi everybody, I'm Rick Steves. Join me for a trip across Western Europe and its weird and wonderful world of sport this week on the Errorogenous Zone. In the last week of September, we confused some people by asking for the full name of soccer as evidenced in the acronym FIFA. The answer is Association Football, but that would be AF, not FA. What gives, people asked. So we'll start off in Paris. Nowadays, FIFA is headquartered in Switzerland, like pretty much every global NGO, but when it was founded in 1904, it was headquartered about a block from the Tuileries Garden, and so its name is French for International Federation of Association Football. Except in French, of course, the adjectives come after the nouns, so it's not IFAF, it's FIFA. And that already settles our original question. But how it came to be called Association Football in the first place is a different matter, and it just has to do with how many different freaking kinds of football were being invented in the second half of the 19th century. In fact, less than a decade after the rules of what would become soccer were codified by England's FA, or Football Association, some guys at rugby school invented their own kind of football. And suddenly we had Rugby Football and Association Football. Now, both of those names are way too long to say on a regular basis, so Rugby Football became just rugby, and in much the same way that Paul McCartney is Macca, Association Football became soccer. English people are weird that way. Sometime later they realized that if they're just going to call rugby rugby, then why don't they call soccer football? Well, the rest of the world kind of agreed that that was a sensible name for a game where you mostly only ever use your feet, and so to this day it's football almost everywhere in the world. Anyway, the rest you can guess. At about that same time, in the second half of the 19th century, Americans were inventing their own kind of football with the gridiron and the concussions, and Australians were inventing yet another kind of football with the oval field and the ruckman. So that's why Americans still call soccer soccer, and the Australian soccer team is called, I shit you not, the Socceroos, which is pretty much the most adorable name ever devised for a group of sweaty dudes. 2 more final notes, I promise. The rules of soccer are not promulgated directly by FIFA, but by a separate board called IFAB, the International Football Association Board. That is, the International Board of Football Associations. Wheels within wheels. Oh, and the rules of football are not actually called rules, they're called laws. So if you ever find yourself wondering if the referee is blind, well, maybe there's a good reason for that. And that's all I have on this week's episode of the Errorogenous Zone. Bye.